Okay, so now we are going to cover how to complete the forms for both representing a tenant in a rental transaction and a landlord in a rental transaction. So we're going to go to add a loop. We're going to first represent a tenant here. So we'll say we're going to represent my brother. Again, since it's a tenant, you're going to want to put the name of your client as the loop name. For the template, you're going to click the leasing loop. This will provide you with the correct forms to fill out. Then click done. So we're going to go to view loop. And a leasing loop is generally much simpler than a buying or selling loop. So again, you're going to have your process guide up top. You can follow that to help you fill out these forms. But the most important thing you're going to need to complete for any transaction is your broker's rental fee disclosure form. That needs to be done up front before you view any properties with your prospective client. And then if your client is going to be residing in a property built before 1978, you need to ensure that you receive a copy of the tenant-led law notification form from the landlord or the landlord's agent, and you need to fully execute that form with your client before they can enter into a lease contract. So again, you'll see the two forms you need to have done up here. A rental application is also something that we require. However, if you have a different rental application form than the Greater Boston Real Estate Board version, that is fine. And we have some optional forms which we'll cover at the end. And then we have a standard apartment lease. Again, in this instance, it would be the responsibility of the landlord and the landlord's agent to complete this form, which your client would sign. But it's really good to make yourselves familiar with what a standard apartment lease looks like. We prefer the Greater Boston Real Estate Board version. We think it's the most clear. It's very well spelled out. So definitely take a look at that so you can best represent your client, let them know what to be looking for in a standard apartment lease. So we're first going to cover this broker's rental fee disclosure. Again, you're going to want to select who your tenant is. So we would add a person. Like I said, we're going to represent my brother in this instance. So we're going to add his information in there. Again, you're going to be filling out all this typically. We're going to add that person as our tenant. And then we're going to fill out this one-page broker's rental fee disclosure form. So section 1, there's nothing to do. Section 2 is spelling out the amount that you are going to be compensated for your services. So typically, we are going to ask that you be compensated for 1 month rent as specified in the apartment lease or something similar to that. Again, we have language in that training guide. There's multiple ways that you can receive payment. We typically want it immediately upon signing a lease or other rental agreement. That way, once that lease is actually signed, you're going to be compensated. If there's a situation where a tenant signs a lease and then does not end up becoming a tenant, they for some reason have to cancel their tenancy, we offer a full refund. So a tenancy is not created, the prospective tenant shall be entitled to a full refund of amounts previously paid. That way, especially if you're going to represent them again, you're not charging them for a apartment they never moved into, and then you charge them again on the back end for their new apartment that they end up moving into. So again, this is tailorable. You can fill this out based on the needs of the situation. However, this is our recommendation. So at the bottom, we're going to print the name of the real estate brokerage firm and license number. So again, you're going to use the information in that training guide to put Full Circle Realty LLC and our license number. And then you're going to have your signature, so signature of the salesperson, and your license number here. the date that you gave this disclosure to this prospective tenant. Again, this should be on your first meeting before you ever go and view properties. And then you need to have the acknowledgement by your tenant. So fill out their name, their address, telephone, and email number or email address. Have them sign. So fill this out, save and share it with them. If for some reason they refuse to sign, you would check the box at the bottom. However, please talk to Chris or I if this situation arises, because more than likely, based on experience, there will be issues collecting the fee that you're due. So we would want to discuss the possibility of not representing this client if they are refusing to sign this form.